Hey guys, and welcome to my The Division 1.4 review. Now I want to start off by saying that I bought and played The Division at release, and I pretty much dropped it until now because it just wasn't fun for me to play other than the single player story, which I quite enjoyed. But after that I found it bland and boring with no real game motivation, so keep that in mind. So patch 1.4 introduced a lot of changes to how the game works, and we will go through all or most of them and see how that changed the game for better or for worse. Now, enemies aren't bullet sponges anymore. Yes, one of the most important points that people usually remember about The Division is the number of shots it took to take down enemies. It sometimes took thousands upon thousands of bullets to take down bosses or even elite enemies. It was simply not fun, and it sure did its job alienizing people from the game. Remember that The Division is an FPS RPG hybrid, and in that case it was way too much on the RPG/MMO side. At the same time, it took an enemy with a shotgun, only one blast to your head to kill you, which made the whole experience lacking. Add to that the enemies were missing any real AI, and that's why it simply bored the hell out of most people. All you did was to point at an enemy and empty clip after clip and hope that no shotgun enemy would creep up on you from behind and whistle out your candle, so to say. Now, I'm glad to say that this is gone. They moved the slider way more to the FPS side and made enemies go down a lot faster, but at the same time made them a lot smarter too. They now try to take appropriate cover and action and will try to outflank you more. Now of course, don't expect any magic here, it's still a game and so the AI is still very limited, but in contrast to before, it's like night and day. So at the same note, you can now survive a lot more. Of course, if you are undergeared for what you are facing, the enemy will make short work of you and you'll die rather quickly. So to recap, time to kill has been significantly reduced, while time to live has been increased appropriately, which makes the game a lot more fun. So let's give this a go. Now we come to the content. With the introduction of world tiers, they finally reopened the entirety of the playable area to people instead of limiting where you could go to a tiny portion of the map. Now, upon reaching level 30, all of Manhattan will have enemies appropriate to your level, and most importantly, your gear score. And even better, depending on the world tier level you're in, you'll get loot that will increase your gear score towards the next tier. So you don't have to play in a world tier in order to get the gear that has the level of that world tier. No, you get the items already in the world tier below, if that makes any sense. So now you can go everywhere, but how does that matter you ask? Well, it matters in the way that you can go anywhere to any content you want or like, and you will always get the same quality loot. There is no place to get better loot, but only the quantity. So for example, every single red enemy you encounter may drop a piece of gear set you need, just like an end boss in an encounter could. The difference is that the boss guarantees you drops while random mobs don't. That being said, random trash mobs are so rare in this game, in free roam, that it's not a viable alternative to farm. There simply aren't enough enemies that walk the streets, and I think Ubisoft should consider upping that a bit. The only thing that is farmable right now in free roam are the 11 open world bosses, which are more or less easy to find with the help map, and also rather easy to kill, and which of them guarantees 1 or 2 high-end items. When I say high-end items, I'm level 229 items, no matter if it's yellow, gold or whatever, or green set items. Level 229 includes every item. So they do have a 4-hour respawn time, and you can finish one round in like 10 or 15 minutes. That even if you take 20 minutes to kill all the bosses, it's still, you have like over 3.5 hours left. So they aren't very viable to farm either. Which means you're still stuck with search and destroy missions, which means running to point A, kill some trash, run to point B, kill some more trash, and then run to point C and kill some bigger trash returnees. Doing that gives you intel, which you can use to get high value targets from the main base, which is like world bosses that spawn just for you. But again, high value targets, they are a quick and easy way to get guaranteed loot, because they always drop loot and you get a reward as well, another item, plus credits and stuff, Phoenix credits, whatever. They're a quick way. You should absolutely do them if you want quick and easy loot. So there are of course still missions which you can do alone or with other people, and which also can drop a lot of items. Or of course there are incursions, which are you and your team killing a lot of enemies for basically no loot, all things considered, but with a reward that makes it wild, especially Phoenix credits that you get for. You get a lot of Phoenix credits for quite little things considered. Then of course for those with the underground DLC, there's still also the option of running underground phases solo or in groups, but I find them to be rather dull because they become really repetitive really quick. But that's sadly that's a big problem with the game in it all. There's a lot of things that are really repetitive, and yeah, that's one of my main issues with it. You also notice that I didn't mention the Dark Zone. There's a reason for it. I haven't been there yet since the patch. I will try it shortly and maybe write about it as well. But I'm more of a solo PvE guy, so the Dark Zone isn't my primary goal in this game, and so I can't be very objective about it. Now, you may wonder now, the question is it fun now? Well, the answer, and I mean the game, and I mean the Dark Zone, the answer is yes and no. I mean, it's fun in the short span that you come back, but for most people, I don't say for everybody, for most people, the fun factor will fade rather quickly, because yeah, when you first come back and you start getting all the loot, you'll be always a bit overwhelmed and you will be happy and whatnot. But as you progress, you quickly find yourself in my position, where you realize that you get everything you want, you need extremely quickly and easy. And I played now for a couple of days since the patch has released. I played for a couple of days now. I never played more than 1 or 2 hour piece. My inventory is full of level 2 to 9 gear sets and weapons. So I'm relatively strong and can face anything the game has to offer with more or less difficulty. Now I'm not saying that I'm immortal or inside DPS or whatever. No, I'm not even saying that I tried to do so. I surely didn't try to min-max anything or whatever. But the way the game throws loot at you, you become rather strong rather quickly. And again, I'm not saying that everything is too easy, no, I still die sometimes, but usually it's more of my carelessness because of just sometimes you're in a bad team, or not necessarily with people that are bad, but because you are in a random team which does not have the right skills to work as a team or whatever. But it's kind of rare. It's rare to die in this game. So I think the biggest problem here is the lack of motivation to run endgame content, because there isn't anything you can get before already. For example, you don't run an incursion in Heroic or whatever to get better items. No, you do them so you can get the same items already got before it, and basically all you do is get Phoenix credits, which then allows you to buy stuff, roll crates or whatever. But everything you can find everywhere, no matter the difficulty, as long as you play multi or. So it's just a question of RNG, random number generator, if the gear that drops has the right stats that you're looking for. So like I said, I've not played several days and hours. The only thing that is left for me right now is switching between my different sets to find the one that suits me best, because each set has bonuses that fits a particular playstyle. But after that, all that remains is farming for the same gear over and over, just to get the gear with the best RNG stats. And again, the stats of gear are purely random. They are not determined by where they drop. So if you have a set item that dropped from random trash mob in the streets, then it has the same chances to be what you than if you kill the end boss of an heroic instance. There's no real motivation there. So let's recap this quickly. The gameplay itself and the mechanics, i.e. how enemies move and fight and die, has improved dramatically for the better. But this is meaningless if it doesn't give you an actual motivation to face them. I mean, people need something to keep playing a game. Now, for those who are into random PvP in the Dark Zone, good. They have that motivation to keep looking for better gear in order to be more competitive against other players with the same goal. But for people like me, who are more into PvE, there isn't much motivation to keep going. Once you found your gear that allows you to tackle anything the game has to offer, basically, what is the motivation to keep playing? If the same items drop from random trash mobs than what I can find from an elite boss, what's the point? I think they overdid it a bit with the loot. I hope they reworked. I hope they will rework that. Loot really should be a compensation for your work and not just thrown at you. I mean, I'm okay if now and then, rarely, I get a good piece of gear from some random mob, but right now, that chance is about 1,000 times too high. Also, I think that set items should mainly drop from bosses. And I'm not saying they should only drop from the end bosses or whatever, but the chances for that should be at least aligned with it, with the amount of work you put into it. If I kill an end boss with a group after a challenging mission, I want there to be a loot galore. I want that recompensation. Or even better, why not give static end bosses the chance to drop a unique item only they can drop? Heck, even if it was only a cosmetic item, like a weapon skin or a cloth or whatever, but something that lets you stand out. I mean, so to finish this up, I've said that all in all, considering it's a free update and all that, they did improve the game a lot. And for the better. And if they tweak what I mentioned a bit in the future, then I can see myself sinking a lot more hours into the game. So if you own the game and haven't played for some time, it's your chance now to give the game another chance. I think, all things considered, it's worth it. Just don't expect any long-term endgame out of it, unless you're into PvP maybe, and I don't know what's the real motivation there either, but I'm not a PvP guy, so I couldn't really judge that. So yeah, if you want some short-term fun, and you like loot, then yeah, I think it's really worth getting back into it, or even to buy it. I think it's now like $18 or something. So for the DLC, honestly, I don't think it's worth it. The Underground DLC, I don't think it's worth it at all. But again, for that, you just watch some videos and judge yourself. I just think it's very little. It's not a lot for anything. So yeah, that's all for me. Cheers, and see you next time. I'm Sin.